Hey guys, it's Lazy, and I think I've finally nailed the ultimate tanky setup for AFK in Simulacrum 4, and this setup lets you kind of sit back, tank every modifiers and combo this mod have to offer or throws at you with zero death and with high consistencies. I have run the setups, I have tried countless time, all with zero death, and yep, fully AFK. No need to hit your flask, no dodging, no skill usage if you don't feel like it. This is truly what GG envisions. Playing the game so passively, you can't even call it boring anymore because, well, you're not even playing the game at all. You might be wondering how far I have pushed this build, and trust me, it's a lot of change, a lot of tweaking. I have tackled some of the most critical issues from the previous setups, and in this video I'll break down all the changes, deep dive into the defensive layer and how I solve all those issues. You'll learn how to set it up properly, and who knows, maybe even adapt this to another class or ascendancy, so let's dive in. So let's talk about the change that I made to the build and why. You can kind of see it on the screen already, but I have added energy shield to the build, and I am stacking ES Recoup on top of life and mana Recoup. And you can also see that I'm tanking that purple flower chaos damage, no problem at all. Here's the thing, going all in on life is insanely expensive because the best jewel that you can have is Grand Spectrum, and they are very expensive. Calm's Heart, for example, give you a tons of life, but it comes with a huge downside that it makes your spirit goes to 0. No spirit means you cannot use any aura at all, and in a tanky setup like this, you really want Enfeeble, and casting the Enfeeble yourself is just very clunky. You want it to be fully AFK, right? But by removing Calm's Heart, we will lose a chunk of our life, and our damage also goes down because of it. But what do we actually gain? Well, for starter, we are getting a bunch more energy shields, and then we also get a massive amount of energy shields and life recoups thanks to the new unique item, Sacrosanctum. This one basically double our effective recoup because damage taken now recoup as life is also recoup as ES, which means that we have double our recoup, and again we can drop Wildwood Persistent if we want because we are getting so much recovery already in both form of life and ES. With that, our ascendancy setup become a lot more flexible, and we can pick up mind phylacteries and keep our charm uptimes at 100%, which is just plain awesome for a lot of utilities and solving one big problem that we have, which I will talk about after. The big reason I swapped to the setup is also because I realized armor wasn't doing as much as I thought. I was tanking just fine when I run into the armor breaker modifiers, which make my armor go to 0 when I'm tanking a lot of stuff and I still will not die. So yeah, that's the basic rundown of what changed. But that is just scratching the surface. I'll break down exactly what problem this new setup solved and why is it so much better or smoother to play. One of the biggest issues with the previous build was consistencies. And you would run into certain monster modifiers in simulacrums, and they could just kill you no matter how much you invested into the build. The main offender is volatile plant, and these purple balls hit insanely hard even with cap chaos resistance, and sometimes you would hit by more than once and the damage all stack up and it would end your runs. It get even worse when you combine volatile plant with the prevent life recovery above 50%, and that combo is really hard to tank, and 9 times out of 10, even with a well-geared characters, you would just die because you have less life and you get hit by multiple volatile plant. With this new setups, I think the problems are finally solved. We get unlimited charm uptimes, which means our Forsaken Banger is always active, and we get hit by volatile plant, and this adds a healthy chunk of recoups when we need it. It's percentage based, so it's very strong. The prevent life recovery above 50% is not as scary anymore because having energy shields, meaning that both our life and ES do get half, but the effective life and recoups are still way better than before, especially at the same budget. And now we get to run Enfeeble as an aura as well, and that's another 20% less damage from rares, and around 9% less damage from unique bosses, and that is after factoring in the curse effect penalty from Blasphemy. So you can kind of start to see how all this layer kind of stack up. I have run into the worst case scenarios, combinations of armor breakers, volatile plans, prevent recovery above 50%, and I still come out on top. So yeah, when it comes to the consistencies, I believe this one have really high success rate of at least 99% when you are trying to AFK through a Simulacrum 4. Let's talk about all the changes in details to my gears, passives, and ascendancies. So for my recoups right now, I have 65%, and this is a lot more. This is because of the new body armor that I've added, and against Defiance of Destiny is still really good. Recoup life, recoup energy shields equal to life, and then some recoups on mana as well. I dropped most of the armor from my setups. This is because armor is not as strong as I thought it would be. I keep some of the armor because on these armor and ES gear, you can get strength roll and you can get a lot of life roll. So get as much life as you can on these gears, get as much strength as you can, some resistance. Same thing here, armor and ES, try to squeeze in some ES into our build because right now I have 4,200 life and 3,300 energy shields. Most of my gear stay the same. I have now taken the ascendancies note with my phylacteries and intricate sigil, so I have one more charm slots, which means I can run this cheap ingenuity with 2 charm slots only and still have 3 charm, all the charms that I want. Forsaken Bangle is good. It prevents damage you take when you do the volatile plan. Black Cat is good. It is when you become shocked, so you're shock immune. Being shocked means you take more damage, and we don't want that. Lightning damage of enemies hitting you is also unlucky, so that's pretty good. Consecrated Ground when you start bleeding, so we are essentially immune to bleed, immune to corrupted blood. And it also gives Consecrated Ground, which have a small effect of regenerate 5% of your life per second and reduce the curse effect on you. Besides that, we have now have spirits on our gear, which means that we can run Blasphemy, and you can run Blasphemy. You have pretty good intelligence with the new passive setup, so you can run Blasphemy with Enfeeble, Heightened Curse, Ritualistic Curse, and Magnified Effect, so it covers more area. If you have another link, you could put in Vitality or some of the other support gems that you can put in. You have 17 spirits, you have some spirit from here to do that. To get as much ES as we can, again, we are switching some of the gear. This one has small ES here. We get ES from our body armor. The most important stats on here, I would say, is damage taken, recoup as life. You want the stats to be as high as we can, and chaos resistant as well. Strength and intelligence is pretty good. Again, some intelligence is needed because we want to run the blasphemy support with Enfeeble. We are taking Azir Disdain. This item is good for us because we are stacking life anyway, and you want this number to be 15% of maximum life as extra maximum energy shields. And I'm taking all the corruptions on these unique items with the 2 sockets so I can put in for the increased maximum life percentage. So yeah, that's pretty much all the change to the gear. I want to mention that I have also tried out Bear Anguish. It's not as strong and consistent, but if you want to try it out, you want to have Catalysis. So it will take physical damage taken from hits taken as a random element, and one of these elements could be fire, which means that the damage taken can ignite you, and whenever you get ignite, you go into proc Bear Anguish, but we don't really scale this too much. because we get less life now, and in the setup it's really not optimal for this. But I have switched most of my jewels, so I will show you here real quick. Most of my jewels now, this one is just the same as before, but we can make use of the increased maximum energy shields and corrupted blood here. I also have the damage taken recoup as life. On all of my jewels right now, I have the increased maximum energy shields. I have some skill effect duration is good for the corrupted blood durations. Damage is taken from mana before life is good, so it will prevent even more damage. Let me see if I can show you here. It doesn't really show here, but I think I have roughly 28 to 30%, which is flat DR when you consider that 4% damage taken from mana before life, which means that if I have mana, I will have the flat DR, as I explained in the previous videos. But you want maximum energy shields on all these jewels, you want recoup as life, you want damage taken from mana before life. All of these are very good. So the sapphire jewels are actually much better than the ruby ones when it comes to the options, which is why I also swapped to this version of the build. It is much more efficient when you get good jewels like this. And that's pretty much it. Cover the jewels and the gear. For the ascendancies, again, I swap over to my phylactery. This is amazing. It gave me full uptimes on Forsaken Bangle when I do run into the volatile plants or if I take chaos damage from hits. And all these charms are good. Blood Boil is mandatory as well. It's really good. You turn this on, and make sure you turn this on too, because you have to turn this on and you will feel like your AoE clear is much better. If you do want to run maps or even in simulacrums, it helps. And for this one, I take Unfurled Fingers and I spec out Mystic Attunement. Sure, I lose a little bit of bonus from my rings and amulets, but overall I think it's worth it. I really don't want to drop Blood Ball and get that, or the spirit, reduced spirit doesn't really matter. You have extra spirits, so it doesn't really matter here. Ring slot is nice, so you run 3 rings and you can cap all your resistance. You can overcap it easily if you get one of the better rings, but yeah. And I think that's it. Some of the passive tree change I'll go over, but you can kind of just follow the PoE. You want to take all the good ES node that is close to you. So this one give 40% increase maximum ES. This one give 30%. This one give 25% and +1 to all maximum elemental resistance. This one give 60% increase, which is really good. It's slow the start of the ES recharge, which does not really matter to us because we are doing Recoup ES anyway. This node is amazing. It gives 3% increase to maximum life, mana, and ES, which we can use all 3. Recoup as life, mana, and ES as well. Amazing. And everything is the same. I do have to spec out of this one as well. 3% recoup and a few recoup node over here. But we make it up with the Sacrosanctum. That's essentially 3 nodes right there. I do have to spec out of offensive stance, and I lose 10% block chance, which means that in this setup, if you want to reach block cap, you want to have a blood barrier with 30% increased block chance, which is like the perfect roll. It might be a bit more expensive now, but per traditions, let me just quickly do a showcase of a wave 15 on Simulacrum 4. This build have a lot of damage in the right conditions, and it is the squishiest in the beginning when you don't have everything ramped up. And you can see I get sharp here, but the charm procs and I'm fine. Once you have all your recoups numbers start rolling around, you will be almost immortal, at least in Simulacrum 4. And you can tank both of the boss without much issues. And you can kind of see that Blood Boils and Corrupted Blood do a lot of damage here. If you want to go faster, make sure that you kite a bunch of these small monsters over to Kosis. He's usually the one that survives last if you don't do it correctly, because the Corrupted Blood can fall off on him when he do his channeling animations, but as long as you have some sort of small monster around him and you, and then you can transfer the corrupted blood from the blood bowl and doesn't let the corrupted blood fall off, then it's completely fine. The final thing I want to say is usually I don't do build like this, but an AFK build is not meant to be fun. It's meant to be playing passively, so you can farm the content while having fun doing the other stuff, like watching videos, planning for another build, watching YouTubes, whatever. So yeah, this is not meant to be a fun build. If you are actively playing, obviously I'm not going to recommend this build. But it's a fun project overall, very tanky. This is my final version of the build. If you like this one, enjoy the build, and thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.